Amador County Farm Day, bringing agriculture to the classroom.
Good morning, everybody. Jim Spinetta here from Spinetta Family Vineyards, and welcome to Amador Farm Day. We've been farming here since 1852. These are all of our vineyards out here. So vineyard, this is where we grow our grapes. And of course, what are grapes used for? Grapes can be used for jellies. They can be used for vinegar. Of course, we love eating grapes. Probably, I bet you what are your favorite grapes? Do you guys like Thompson seedless, the green ones, or do you like the flame seedless, the purple ones? So you guys, go ahead, raise your hands. You guys figure out and do your own survey to see which one you guys like the best. For me, I love the Thompson seedless. Those are the best ones. Those are my favorite, the green ones. But today we're going to show you about the vineyards. In Amador County, this is the #1 commodity, is grapes, the #1 agricultural commodity. And right now, this is fall time. The grapes are ripe. If you take a look over the vineyards, you can see in the vines how purple it is. So the grapes, we measure them by sugar, by percent sugar. And right now they're around 25% sugar, 25 bricks. That's probably the sweetest orange that you've ever tasted in your life. If you want to know how sweet it is, it'd be like the sweetest apple that you ever had. So we're just about ready to pick here in about 1 week. And for these grapes, we actually make them into adult wine is what we use these for. But come join me. I want to show you. We're going to get a refractometer out. It's going to be a really fun day. And hey, you guys, welcome to 2020 Amador Farm Day. So what we have here, these are black muscat vines. So we have different types of grapes. Like sometimes there's flame seedless, sometimes there's Thompson seedless. Well, these are called black muscat. And on these are grapes that have this muscat flavor to them. So take a look at this bunch of grapes. So on this, you have the stem like there, and you have these little wings where the grapes come out. And in a grape, actually, it's the skin is where the color comes from. So if you take a look at the grape, we're going to take it, and you look at that. Inside the grape, there's the flesh that's inside of it. And see, I'm squeezing out the seeds that are coming out of the grape. We're going to take a look at one of these seeds. Because people ask me, they say, hey, Mr. Spinetta, how do you know when a grape is ripe? And so #1 is you take a look at it. You see it's turning nice and purple. And of course you taste it. But another thing that my grandfather taught me is you take a look at the seed. See that seed, how it's brown? So grapes, wine grapes that have seeds inside of them, at first when they're not ripe, the seeds are actually green. And then as it gets riper, it actually turns brown. So that's how you know that a grape is getting ripe, when the seeds are brown as brown eyes, just like that. So on these grapes, these are just amazing flavor. These are really good for jellies, these black muscats. So these are really good. My mom used to take the grapes and we'd squeeze them up and she'd make them into jelly. So I'd have peanut butter and jelly with black muscat on them. These were super, super good. And on these grapes, if you guys are pretty good, you can also do this sometimes. So you take the grape, kind of get back a little bit. And we're going to see if Mr. Spinetta, if he can do this in the first time, if he can catch it in his mouth. So let's see if this is going to work. Ready? On 3, 2, and 1. Look at that. That was the first time did it in the mouth. So anyway, you got to have some fun with grapes and everything. But farming, it takes a lot of work throughout the year to do it. It's not always fun. You're not always just catching grapes in your mouth. This time of the year, we're going to go through and we're going to harvest all the grapes. So I want to teach you guys about how a grape grows throughout the year and how it is here on the vine. We're going to start with everything that we have right here. So these grapes are vinifera grapes. Vinifera grapes are ones that grow here on the West Coast. They like warm temperatures. And they're on the East Coast, they have Labrusca grapes. They're ones that like cool temperatures. So you have the viniferas, and you have the Labruscas. But viniferas here, they love the hot temperature, just like in California. It gets really hot in the summertime, and it gets really cold in the wintertime. And then we use this drip system right down here to water the grapes. So the water comes through the hose, and it comes out these little drippers, and it goes drip, 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 drip. And so that way it puts the water right next to the plant. And this is where we have the vine actually growing. And there are actually 2 different types. You wouldn't believe this. There are actually 2 different types of grapes growing right here. So this right here is called the graft. This is where we grafted the plant. So down at the bottom, have you guys ever seen walnut trees where the bottom is black walnut and then they graft on the English walnut onto the top of it. Well, we do the same thing with grapevines. So down here on the bottom, if you guys have ever been down to the river, how many of you guys have ever been to the river? Of course, raise your hand. You've been to the river and you see wild grapevines growing all over the place. Well, that's what this is. This is a wild grapevine that's down here. The wild grapevine, it's resistance, it's strong. It has a lot of natural vaccines to bugs, to insects, to pathogens, the thing that may be harmful to this grapevine. So here we have the natural grapevine. This is called St. George. This is what this one is called. Likes drought conditions. It can get very hot, lots of heat. And then we actually put a bud, we actually put the black muscat on top of it. So this is St. George from here down, and this is black muscat from here up. But that doesn't change the flavor of the plant. If I wanted to, I could go black muscat to Thompson seedless, to flame seedless, to Zinfandel, to Barbera, to whatever you want. And that grape will always taste like that grape. It doesn't mix the flavors. So this is called the trunk. This is the main part of the vine that grows up here in the center. And just like that, just think up your body, like this is the trunk. And then what do you have here? What are these called? These are called arms. Well, that's exactly what we call these. These are called arms that we have here on the grapevine. These are the arms that go out on the grapevine. And then we have these little guys. If you look right through here, these are called spurs. Just like how a cowboy has spurs on the back of his boots and everything, these are spurs. And on each spur, we leave two buds, one here and one here. So this is what we cut last year. And you can see where the grapes come out of those little buds from last year's fruit. And usually what happens on a grapevine, ooh, underneath here, look at these. Look how beautiful this is where you have the two buds that come out, you're gonna have two bunches of fruit. So you have the first bunch that comes from the arm is a big, big bunch. The first one's always the big boy like that. Look at that one. And then the second one is always a little bit smaller. So, and the plant knows that. The reason why it has the big one that's closer is because these grapes are really heavy. I mean, look at this. Here's the first cluster. So it's really close to it. And the vine knows that if I put the heavy one there, I won't break. And it puts the lighter one a little bit farther out because it knows it's going to be less heavy and it's not going to break as easily. So vines are smart, plants are smart. They know what to do so they can naturally save themselves. And as you go out, the clusters even get smaller and smaller. So if you take a look up here, look at this one. It's way out on the vine, but look at how baby it is. That's actually called a second. So this is the first crop, and then this is the second crop because the vine knew, hey, it's really far out. If it was really heavy, boom, it would break that branch. It would hurt itself, but it's really light and everything. So, and look at these bunches. You can see how on these, how they're really strong and they're plump, but see how these are turning into raisins? Look what happened there. It's actually turning into a raisin. And so we can actually measure the sugar. Remember how earlier I talked to you guys about bricks, B-R-I-X. Okay, everybody on the count of three, I want you to say bricks. Bricks, there you go. Bricks is how we measure sugar. And these are probably about 25% sugar. But you know what? I have a little device over here. I can't remember what it's called. Is this device, does anybody know? Oh, let me open this up. Does anybody know what this little device is called? Darn, I forget the name. Does anybody know what this is called? I think it's called a portable. Hey, wait a second. You guys were looking at a portable refractometer. You guys are smarter than me. I bet you're all high schoolers. Isn't that right? So what this is called a portable. Let's first of all talk about portable. What does portable mean? It's something that you can move. So it's easy to move. It's a portable. And that's called refractometer. Say refractometer. Come on. You're all going to get extra credit for your teacher if you say refractometer. So this is a portable refractometer. Refract, what does that mean? What happens is I take this portable refractometer, and this is how it works. We're going to learn everything. You guys are going to do this. So what you do is you have this little lens and you lift it up just like that. And then you take the grape juice and we're going to squeeze it right there. Right? See it dripping right there onto the lens. So I'm going to cover that all the way up. Everything right there. So now there's a whole bunch of juice right there. We're going to put this right on down. And then what I'm going to do to this portable refractometer, I have this little eyepiece right there. So if you put your eye right there, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to look at the sun. I'm just going to have it towards the sun. So inside there, right now it says 25.5. I think I said it was 25 bricks. See if you can get a shot of that looking into there. It's pointing in the direction of the light, just right inside there. And I think we might be able to get a shot. See you guys where it's blue and it says like 25.5, almost 26. So that tells you that's 25.5, 26% sugar. This is like the sweetest candy you've ever had. So these are definitely ready to harvest. So we use different tools. Like we said, we use the seeds. We make sure that they're brown. That's how we know that they're ripe. And then we also use our portable refractometer to check the sugars, to look at it. And then we also just use our mouth. We just use it to taste it and everything. And so I noticed some of you guys, you probably saw this on my finger. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is that for? So this is actually a finger knife that adults use. And so what we do is we have to tie up these vines, because here you have these heavy, heavy vines. And this is where I have my roll of tape. So I have this little roll of tape right here, and I can pull it back and forth on this little strand right here. And it's just plastic tape. You've probably seen it in the yard or things like that. This is just tie-up tape. So if I don't want this plant to fall over. There's a lot of fruit. The wind can come in there and blow it. So I take the tape and I wrap it around the plant. This is a really strong one, so I'm going to wrap it around 2 times because it's really heavy. And then I just tie a knot. So I'm going to do 1 knot right there. I'm going to do a second knot, a double knot right there. So now it's tied, nice and tight. And watch this. I'm going to take this finger knife and look. Boom, it cuts the tape just like that. So this is a really nice tool that adult farmers use for tying up their grapevines. We also use these other type of ties. You probably saw these. These are really cool, really fun. It's almost like, they're almost kind of like Velcro, the way these things work. So these are called ag ties. Everybody say ag tie, not egg tie like the eggs, but these are ag ties, like agricultural ties. Ag just stands for agriculture. It's one of those acronyms, I think. So what you do is you take these, and I take this around the plant, and I just go like this. I put it around, and look at this. I just latch it, and it locks, and look how it holds, just like that. And if I want it to be tighter, I just pull it through, and I can make it a little bit tighter. And if I want to make it looser, I can make it looser. And if I want to take it off, I can take it off. But watch this. Let's say it's not, this is a really big plant. If you want to put 2 together, you take it, you lock it together, just like that. So now I have a longer one. You can see how big that is. And so now I can take this and wrap it around the plant, and I can put it at any level that I want to lock it up, like that, and I can loosen it up as I wish to do it. So when we go through and we're doing our farming, we just carry them with us on little bundles. If one falls down or one picks up, we can go ahead and do the tying up our grapevines just like that. We're going to set this right back here. I'm going to show you guys different types of grapes that we have out here too. And another way that we can do these portable refractometer tests is we'll actually go through the fields and we'll take samples, because that was only 1 grape. I know that this 1 grape was 25 bricks, but how do you take a sample when we have almost 80 acres of vines? I mean, just look at all these vines out here. How do you take a sample? So I want you guys to come on. We're going to walk along. We're going to take a good sample of our grapes out here in the field. What we use is a cup. So we're just going to go through here, and we're going to take a little handful of grapes, just like that, and we're going to squeeze it. See, now some of these are pink, some of these are not, are a little purple. We're going to drop it right into the cup, and come on down over here. There's a nice cluster right here. Let's take another little handful right there. We're going to put those into the cup, and we're just going to walk all over this field, taking a sample of our black muscat. We're going to take another little handful right here. So you want to go to the top of the plant. Maybe we're going to come over here and we're going to go into the middle of the plant. We want to take nice random samples so we know exactly what the sugar is going throughout this field. This one I'm going to reach way below. Where do you guys want to go next? You want to go up, down, side, or up? Okay, I heard someone say to the side. All right, let's go to the side over here. And for last sample, do you guys want to go up, down, sidewise, or backwards? Okay, I heard someone say backwards. Oh wait, we have to go backwards. It's backwards. We got to go over here. I don't know who said backwards. There's somebody that said backwards. You guys are making me do extra work, and I love it. So let's do backwards. We'll take our last sample right there. We're going to squeeze it into the cup. So now we have all these different samples from different areas. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our portable refractometer. We're going to mix this up really good. We're going to take the juice. We're going to pour it on there. Remember, our first test was 25.5. We're going to see how close we were to that one berry. But this is a sample of everything. We're going to put another test. We're going to close it. We're going to lift it up again. We're going to pour some on the top. We're going to pour some on the bottom. We want that lens clean. Now we're going to put it down. We're going to set our cup down. We're going to take this portable refractometer, point it this direction. Whoa, hold on, you guys. Guess what the numbers are? Remember, the first one is 25.5. How many people think it went lower? The sugar went down. Raise your hand. Okay, how many people think it went higher? Raise your hand. Guess what it is? 26.5. So my first test from that one berry was 25.5, but really, this whole area is 26.5. We have to pick these grapes. So I'm going to tell my dad we need to go as soon as we can. These grapes are ripe now, so it's time to pick. So this is exciting. We're going to get these things picked. But come on up here. I want to show you another type of grape that we have. So we did a test on the black muscat, but we have different types of grapes that we grow out here. Another one is called Zinfandel. You've probably heard of Zinfandel. This is the #1 most popular grape that we have here in the valley of Zinfandel. Look at the black muscat. See how these vines, they kind of go down, they drape down. Look at these gorgeous, big type of grapes that we have on site here. So we're going to pick this cluster right here. So this is a black muscat cluster, but let's come on up here. See how they're yellow and they're green and they're draping down. Now wait a second, see how things change? This has more reds, that has more yellows. I want you to look at the leaves, you guys. This is called, if you go to the dentist, this is actually called dentate. So this is dentate, the side of the leaf like that. See how it's really sharp? That's called dentate, the edges of the leaf. Now look at this one, how it's just kind of nice and open like that. So this is the Zinfandel. And you don't have that, so these are the different types of leaves, different types of color of them. And then look at these clusters. These are just little baby guys that are growing here on the Zinfandel. So again, just real tiny ones. They're a lot harder to pick. These are really hard to get off. I had to work on that one. And you can see how tiny those are. So see, these kind of have more pink colors to them and everything. And then these have more of the purple. So the Zinfandel is definitely more of a darker grape. It's a tinier grape. And so the smaller that the grape is, the more flavor, the more color that you get out of it. Though this black muscat has bigger grapes and it's not going to have as much color, but this one has really good flavor. So let's go ahead and taste these. The Zinfandel, we're going to set this down right here. And we're going to look at the seed. And we're going to see how sweet they are. Let's do another test. Whoa. Look at that one. To me, that almost tasted like 25.5. But let's go ahead and do a quick test. So what we're going to do is we take this bunch of grapes. Well, look at all the raisins on that side. What happened, you guys? This cluster was in the sun, and look how it all turned the raisins. That's called sunburn. On this one, this was on the shady side. So on these are just the normal grapes that you have in there. But we're going to take this cluster, and we're going to squeeze it in there. Whoa, look at how purple that is. See? That juice is nice and purple. Lots of color. That's going in there. The Zinfandel definitely has a lot more color to it. Let's grab onto one more cluster over here. We're going to take a good sample. Let's squeeze these in. Boy, these are tough to get the juice out. This is a lot of work. You know what? We're going to get a third one. Right here. Let's squeeze it in. And look how red that is. Just beautiful color. We're going to mix it up. Let's go to a portable refractometer. Okay, how many people think it's above 25? Raise your hand. How many people think it's below 25? Raise your hand. I think you guys that said it's above, I think you might be right. So we're going to take it, put it on a portable refractometer. We're going to close it down. We're going to put a little bit more on the top. Mix it in really good. All right, let's hold it up. Look inside there. Oh, okay, my dad's not going to believe this. Guess what it is? How many people think it's 25? Raise your hand. How many think it's 26? Raise your hand. What about 27? Raise your hand. What about 28? Raise your hand. When you get to 30, it's almost raisins. Well, guess what? This is 28.5 bricks. So as soon as we get down, I'm going to tell my dad, we have to harvest this Primitivo. I want to see if you guys can, let's see this one more time. Let's see if they can see 28.5 bricks right in that lens. Can you guys see that right there where it's blue and everything? So portable refractometer, 28.5. We're going to sample this juice. Super sweet. That is like the sweetest piece of fruit you've ever had in your life. So this is ready. This would make some good peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So cheers, you guys. Appreciate you getting to know the vineyard, to see how we grow the grapes, to see what happens during the season, how we tie them up, the tools that we use, the science that we use. But just remember, with farming, it all comes down to what's in your heart. You do what you enjoy. And stay in school to and take all those different classes. Sometimes you wonder, why am I taking this class? But it'll benefit you in so many ways. And just enjoy Amador Farm Day, and cheers to Vintage 2020.
Amador County Farm Day is brought to you by the University of California Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources 4-H program, the Amador County Farm Bureau, the City of Plymouth, the Amador Resource Conservation District, Charles Spinetta Winery and Vineyard, Tumbas Vineyards, CGDRE Vineyard and Winery, Cooper Vineyards, Sierra Pacific Industries, and your local farmers, ranchers, foresters, and agricultural professionals. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more educational videos.